Hello, 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 hello. Hi.
Hello.
I am Jerry Stellenberg, here to represent the company Multimorphic and talk about a cool pinball game. Or lots of cool pinball games. We have behind me a team of people who have helped create a really cool product. Brad Albright, illustrator. You see his artwork in front of you. Ian Harrower is a software developer on the game. Steven Silver is Ian is a co-creative director on the game too.
There you go.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Thank you.
He does more than one thing. Steven Silver is also a co-creative director. He is an animator, a video producer, a lot of things, and he's done a lot of work on this project as well. I'm going to talk about Portal. They're going to talk about Portal. But before I do that, I want to explain why it's the perfect fit for the P3. Excuse me for turning back around. We switched computers and I'm having to look at the same screen you are. So let's walk through a couple titles that we've put out before. Heist. I believe, thank you, Manu. I believe Heist is the most immersive, original pinball-themed game in the history of pinball. I believe that because it's got one of the coolest mechs ever. It's got a world under glass where we created this cityscape and immerse you in that city and the story. We tell the story. Whoops. The other slide is gone. We tell the story by leveraging the lower half of our playfield, which is an LCD, embedded into the playfield. And we put dynamic graphics and dynamic shot markers and all those things to immerse you into it. We show story elements and we immerse you into that story. The LCD delivers the story of the game. The upper playfield gives you the physical immersion of the cityscape. A couple years later, we came out with Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity. I believe it's the most immersive music-based pinball game in the history of pinball. I believe that because we leverage the system that we have with that LCD, with cool upper playfield mechanics and toys and things, to tell stories every time you start a mode, and every mode is based on one of his songs. So instead of just shooting a shot and starting a song from a band, you're starting a story. And that story is told through the lyrics of the song and the implementation of the game around it. Final Resistance is a completely different game from the previous two. Final Resistance is a game where we delivered a traditional experience with that same playfield display. We no longer used dynamic graphics changing around as you hit shots and things. We took a traditional approach and we used static insert stacks.
But it's enhanced.
On the right, the static insert stacks. It looks like a traditional playfield. The lights blink the same way. The light shows play through the whole playfield. The base scene never changes, but you see all the cool effects that you would on any traditional game. Point is, we can deliver traditional style pinball games, and we can deliver the most immersive types of pinball games you've ever seen before. This delivery system spoiled my next slide. Most immersive film-based pinball game, in my opinion, ever created, The Princess Bride. And I believe that because it's got really cool upper playfield features that immerse you into the scenes of the film, the Cliffs of Insanity, Humperdinck's Castle. There's all kinds of physical mechs that represent elements from the film, but the LCD playfield allows us to tell you the story that they're presenting in the film. You see the video clips playing on the screen as you play through the modes. You're not just hitting shots that are tied to events without getting context. We're giving you the context as you look at the playfield that you're playing the game on. It delivers that really powerful immersion. I'm stuck on 11.
I have to put your focus back on the side because he was zooming.
Okay. But here's the beauty. All of these immersive experiences, the traditional experience, all these cool story-based games are available on the exact same machine. And that's kind of our business model. It's a different paradigm from everybody else. We've created a machine that you can put multiple games on. You can swap out the playfields. The reason the images of the playfields were small upper playfield images were because you can swap those out and you can put in different ones. We have 24 games now available for the P3 system. It's a one machine, many games model. You have computers that run many apps. You have toasters now that probably let you look at your bank account or something. You have cell phones in your pocket. You have video game consoles, all these multi-app devices. Pinball machines can be multi-game devices, and this one is. Just to give you an idea of pricing, each game, once you have the system, is about $3,000 to $4,000 for a brand new gaming experience. You're not paying $10,000 or $12,000 or $15,000 for each new game. You're paying a subset because you already have the system. For new buyers, it's $8,500 for the base machine and some amount more for the game that you're putting into it. We have discounts for buying all this stuff together. We have referral discounts going on. If you have a friend who has a P3 and they refer you to buy one, you get a discounted one, they get credit, everyone's happy. And if you buy one in a machine, these are kind of base prices just to give you your reference. If you buy a P3 with a particular game, that's about how much it costs. Then you have the machine, you can add any of those other game kits for the fraction of that price that you saw on the other slide. Game 24 is Portal. That's the topper. That's the topper. And it's a cool image because it represents all of the major elements of the game. Why did we do Portal? Why is Portal great for the P3? It's great because it has a really cool, funny, fun story, and because it introduces this really cool set of physics, which is really creating connected portals and allowing you to move through the world in ways that you simply can't do in other types of games. Again, I get to the bottom and I have to click. There we go. I don't know which slide was showing last time, but the main point is that the P3 allows us to deliver the story, the amazing story that Portal is, and because of the physical makeup of the system itself, it allows us to send balls into one place and have them pop out somewhere completely different. And we have a lot of those connected portals in this game. This is Brad Albright's like Portal summary in one slide. So Brad developed the artwork for the game. It's all themed obviously around elements from the film. You see it on the machine, it's both sides. We did separate, unique images for both sides of the machine for this game. Brad spent 3 or 4 hours developing the artwork you see above. It's pretty fast. Brad's really good, super fast. Storytelling, we leverage the LCD to tell the story. We immerse you into whatever's happening in the game by showing graphics on the screen that describe for you what's happening in the game. There's a few different modes. We call them test chambers because test chambers are what you do in Portal. And then the upper playfield, which we call Portal Standard, has a ton of things in it. It's got upper left playfield, it's got a physical ball lock, it's got portaling companion cube, it's got momentum jump. All of these things that you see a circle drawn around is something that can be a portal. A ball might go into it, a ball might come out of it, and if you shoot it in one place and it comes out of a different place one time, you shoot it into that place again, it might come out somewhere completely different. You'll understand as you learn the rules, but there's lots of cool stuff in here. I copied the right image again from the second one because the left image is what we call an aerial faith plate. It's an element from the game. You walk on it and it flings you up into the air. In this particular game, that's the ball lock. You shoot it when it's lit. It flings the ball physically through the air towards the back panel and lands on that platform and locks the ball. The standard playfield has a lot of stuff on it. The font on this page is pretty small because it's a collection of a ton of features. The extended version, it's the first time we've done an extended version, introduces more physical elements to the lower playfield. These additional elements that hang over the dynamic LCD. So we still immerse you in the story, but now we can also put physical elements much closer to the flippers. There's a lifting ramp, there's a spinner, there's this really cool, do I show it? The right side of that picture is hard to tell because it looks like artwork, but that artwork is covering a kickback mechanism. So the ball goes into that mechanism and it can get kicked back all the way around the playfield. It's kind of like a shooter lane / a portal because the ball can go in and it can come out somewhere else. An active kickback mech that it shoots in and it spits it back around, and it's a really cool, diverse feature. The left side has targets, a spinner, a really cool, what we call a wall plate, which is elevated, and as the ball rolls by it, in certain modes, you can activate that wall panel and push the ball across the upper layer of the playfield. It's really cool. Extended version has stuff too, really cool stuff, lots of stuff. These are the prices. The standard version of the playfield, $3,900, is $150 more than the Princess Bride, and the list of features is about twice as long as the Princess Bride. To that, we added the extended version. The extended version is an additional cost. People can choose. Do you want it with the module extension or not? It's up to you. If you buy it with the extension, you don't even have to install it. Sometimes you can play it with the extension, sometimes you can play it without the extension. Totally up to you. If you want the full playfield experience or if you want the less expensive upper playfield experience, it doesn't matter. The same software detects what you have installed and changes the rules appropriately to interact or not interact with those mechanisms.
Full game for both. The full game for both.
If you choose to buy a machine with Portal, the pricing is listed at the top. A P3 with standard is $11,620. A P3 with the extended version is $12,500.
But also, if you buy the standard version, you get the entire game. There's not any game that's held back, any gameplay aspects that are held back just for the extended buyers. So, like we said, if you've got the extended version and you want to do quick playfield swaps, you don't want to deal with this extra element, or you think that this might be a different style of gameplay that might be easier for your kids or something like that, you can play it both ways, and you'll get to experience the full game no matter which version you bake.
Thank you. I'm blasting through these slides because I want you to talk to the team. Please have questions queued up. We'll ask you guys what you want to know. We'll have the team kind of run through their experience. This is the team, the full team. Ian, Steven, and a third software developer, or a third co-creative director, Michael Ocean, who was the software developer on Final Resistance. He's developed Dungeon Door Defender. He was the lead on Weird Al. He was helpful on The Princess Bride. Michael's done a lot of work. He co-creative directed this game because, why are there so many co-creative directors? Because we have 3 people on the team who know Portal better than probably everybody in this room combined. They are experts on the subject matter, and they together created the design of this game to deliver an experience that Portal fans would love, and hopefully everyone else loves too. Brad on the art we talked about. Ian and Michael together did the software. Graphics, Steven does some of it. Rory Cernuda, who's our technical artist, he helps implement all the graphics into the game engine, which is a special skill that none of us have, and he's super talented. Mechanical design, TJ Weaver and Trey Jones. Where's Trey? Raise your hand, Trey. Trey's way up here. TJ is our lead mechanical engineer. Trey helps us with making a lot of the parts and iterating and designing and figuring out why stuff works or doesn't work and how to change it to make it better. Scott Denisi, who did Final Resistance. He did Total Nuclear Annihilation. He did a lot of homebrew stuff, games. He did the audio for this game. And then the voices, we leveraged Ellen McLean's voice of GLaDOS from the Portal series in this game. All of the callouts in Portal 2 were available to us, and they're integrated in this game. The whole GLaDOS catalog of lines are integrated in this game. And what she did for Portal is interact with the player in a funny, engaging way, which works perfectly for Pinball. All the callouts kind of translate perfectly for what we did. And then Mark Silk, he's a pretty esteemed actor, voice actor in the UK. He's Bob the Builder, among many other things. He did the voice of our personality core in the game. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to the panel. Really what I want them to do is answer your questions. If there aren't any, then I'll ask some, but we are happy to field questions from you guys. Yes?
So you say switch it out between clinical days. How long does it take to switch?
TJ said, so the question is, how long does it take to switch games? TJ told me earlier today, he said, since I'm not in the seminar, somebody's going to ask. Because usually somebody asks that question and we say, TJ, go change a game. And he changes a game. And Steven, how long does it take?
I've seen TJ swap a game in under a minute. It's once you the longest. It takes the longest to pull the glass out. With the extended, it's a little bit more time, but it's really not bad. I think you can get the whole thing switched over in less than 3-4 minutes.
So we time swapping a playfield module. Putting a playfield module in takes 30 seconds once the glass is off. Swapping the extended thing on top, it drops down from above. You need to remove the 2 wire forms that are standard on the stock platform. It's 4 screws. Remove the 2 wire forms. Drop this thing down from above. Re-screw the wire forms, or re-screw it on using the same nuts, and connect the 3 cables that are connected. That's easy. It takes about 60 seconds to do that. The one caveat to that is when you get the game the first time, you need to install something on your base machine to receive the wall plate actuator, which ties into the flipper right below it. And that thing you install is this, which is this little tiny thing that none of you can see, and the reason I'm showing it to you is so you realize it's not a big intimidating thing that you have to install. It's this tiny thing. You take your side target module out, you put this thing on, and this allows the mechanism to engage it. And one mechanism controls this elevated wall plate. Sorry? It can be left in there forever, yes. This is the flipper pin keeper. So it connects the plunger to the bat. No. It connects the rod to the bat. No, that's not right either. It connects the plunger to the rod. And yeah, once that's installed, it can live there forever. It replaces the existing one, and it's a superset. You have a question?
We have a question from the chat.
Oh, sure. We'll get back to it in
Pinball
1 second.
Nikki asks, can we trade in modules like GameStop for credit towards a new module?
No.
No.
You can sell your module to somebody else and use that money to buy another one.
Or you can reference a friend, and if you get somebody else to come in and buy a P3, you get $1,000 in store credit. So
They get a discount, you get a discount, everyone wins. Question here. Did we get Ellen McLean to do new callouts? No. We paid for the right to use her existing callouts because they were perfect. We didn't need any more. We didn't want any more. What we wanted to do was customize the personality of our game in a unique way. So we had Mark Silk create new voices, but we used Ellen's existing ones. Yes.
My question is for the panel. There's so much detail in this game, so my question would be to each of them. There's so much detail. What do you think people are going to miss that you, like, off the bat or in their first experiences that you want them to notice in the work that you've done?
Becca is tired of listening to me. So she wants to hear, so repeating the question, thank you. She said there's a lot of stuff in this game. It's packed full of art and features. And people are going to walk up and play it once or twice or whatever in the show environment, not have a lot of time to spend on it because there's long lines, and if they complete a game, they have to wait a while and they want to experience other things. What aren't they going to experience? What is going to make the machine, the game, more impressive to them each following on time that they're going to play it? Brad, why don't you start from the artwork perspective? Oh yes, I'm supposed to be handing these out to people asking questions.
Yeah, from my perspective, as the visual artist, it's not that I worry that someone's going to miss something. It's that there is so much there to reward repeat viewing. It's always been key to my objectives to put so much detail and subtle references and Easter eggs in there that it rewards repeat viewing for many hundreds of plays and years to come. But as a new player coming to it, I would, of course, encourage everyone to look at the apron to get a sense of the overall like key features and objectives that maybe you want to start exploring, as it hints towards things that you're supposed to be doing without telling you everything, so that there's much left to discover as you kind of poke around.
So we had Brad decorate every single visible surface in this game. The first time you look at it, you're going to see wherever it is you're looking at from the player's perspective, and there's a ton more. If you walk around to the back side and look at it from the other way, you're going to see entirely new artwork.
Can you put up high energy pellet?
Say again?
You have a high energy pellet slide.
Yep. Yep.
There it is. So on the right there. So one of the things I think is super, super cool in this mode is the implementation of the visuals of the portal. And so if you look at what we call portal left there, through that portal, you can actually see a blinking insert. It'll be blinking red. And that actually is a view into where the ball is going to end up, which is the upper playfield of the game. So you can actually see through the portal into the physical insert of the module blinking to give you a hint that shooting through that portal will end up in the upper playfield. And then when you move the portal, you actually see through the portal back into the room to show you that you're going to come back through the mini loop. And, you know, it took a lot of work to get these details there, and I've watched tons of people not notice what they're doing in this mode because it's a puzzle and confusing and it's a show, but there's a lot of detail, and that's one of the things I really like.
I want people to go and I want them to experience the big marquee features in this. Like you're gonna get the faith plate jumps, and when that happens, it's magical. You see the ball just rocket up onto that plate and lock on there. Or if the cube is down, if the cube has not been pushed, it will pass on through, and you'll get some other award. There's a concept in the game called the faith plate hurry up. As you're completing objectives in the hub mode, you are starting these faith plate hurry ups. And so if before that timer ticks down, if you start a second one, then it resets the timer on that. And now you've got 2 of those objectives on that hurry up. And at some point, it's really hard to do, but you can strategically go and get all 8 objectives lined up for one massive hurry up at the end. But just experiencing that feature, trying to get up to that upper playfield, and trying to shoot the ball into that portal and seeing it fly across the playfield in a lateral sense when we do the momentum jump is a really special moment. And the last big moment is to, on the extended, come down and try to get activate the hard light bridge hurry up. And the light bridge will light up across the playfield, and it lines up with the shot, and you time your flip as it's coming down to try to kick it all the way across that elevated playfield, that polycarbonate across the second layer. So you're playing a second layer of pinball above your playfield layer to get it across to the other side. And if you make it, it's a really great feeling. If you miss it, then the ball's wild and it comes down in the center somewhere and hits the sling or hits something else to go there. And that's just it's a fun thing to try over and over and see. So those are the main features that I would at the show just see if you can do with one of your 3 balls.
So we play tested this for a long time, and we've always been intentionally activating whatever feature it is we're testing. We had a party a couple weeks ago, and this is the second time we've seen people who are not us playing this game and interacting with it. And I watched somebody play a pretty long game earlier, and I asked them, did you activate the hard light bridge? Did you get a successful moat jump? Did you play any of the test chambers? And the answer was no to all of them. And we talked for another 20 minutes about all the features. And then they tried to activate the hard light bridge, and the way the portals map depends on shots you've hit. You have to hit a sequence of shots to get the portals mapped the right way to enable the ball to go from this place over here. And that doesn't happen every game. So I told them how to do it. There were 2 of them. I watched them play a game and try to make it happen. It didn't happen. I said, okay, I'll show you how to do it. I stepped up to the game and I played first ball. I missed it myself. Played the second ball, missed it. The third ball, I hit this sequence of shots to lift the center ramp, shoot the ball under it, have the ball come out here, flip it across. They were both like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's just, there's so many layers of features. None of them got into any test chambers. The test chambers are full puzzle modes. Portal's a puzzle game, right? And the hub mode isn't puzzly, but the test chambers are. You got to go figure out what to shoot. You got to make that portal appear that Ian was referencing. You got to figure out what to shoot to do it. You got to figure out why and when to go into that portal to enable the next sequence of movement. It's there's a ton of depth in this game. Nobody's going to see a tenth of it at the show.
We have another question from chat.
Yeah,
Bat G Tony asks, any chance to open source Wizard Pinball Trainer? I would be cool to have a training session for each module.
Tony is asking about a mini game that we developed and tried out at shows a while ago. That was a training program. It was a training game. It taught you how to do passing and hit shots, aim, and things. No current plans for it. We're quite busy developing cool new content, but the idea of integrating training modes into each game and each module is very interesting and very compelling. Let's go, yes, please. The question is referencing a machine, a P3 machine that we had at a downtown Austin bar named Buffalo Billiards. It was on location for over a year, it might have been 2.5 years. It was running Lexi Lightspeed, our first game, and that was invaluable to us, obviously, to get not multimorphic developers playing the game, giving us feedback from an operator who knew how to maintain. He had 10 different machines, old Williams and Bally machines and whatnot. And yeah, the experience of getting other people to play the games always reveals things you didn't think of or you didn't test yourself. And it's quite interesting how the games evolve when the public starts playing them. Let me give you a valve. In the back, yes. What was it like working with Valve?
We've been incredibly lucky with the licenses and our licensors that we've worked with. Like I say, I always hear about all these nightmare stories about how difficult licenses can be, but everybody that we've dealt with has been amazing. Valve.
Maybe it's
has been no
us.
exception. Huh?
Maybe it's us.
Maybe it's us. Yeah, we're just peaches. That's what it is. But no, they were excellent, and there was a lot of stuff like we would go into meetings afraid that, like we say, there's no way that they would work with this. One example is that with pinball, if you've got multiple shots lit, we need to have, the way that makes sense is that you need to know that if I'm going to shoot it into an orange thing here, it's going to come out of an orange thing here, right? The matched portals concept is what we needed to make the game work in order. So, because if you're trying to do opposite color pair portals, you're never going to be able to keep up with that and track it in your mind, especially when you have multiples going on. And we were kind of wondering if that would be a no-go thing. And they're like, oh yeah, we did this on Bridge Trainer. Like, you guys should try doing this because it would be great for pinball. And they told us the idea that we were afraid to ask. And so they've been really excellent, and they've given us really good feedback that's always made the game better. It wasn't about restricting us in the world that we were trying to build. They were really super supportive. They liked the idea of us building a new addition to the Portal universe, and that's what this game is. It's not retelling the same story you've heard before. We're doing something new inside the Portal universe. And I just saw the other day that Reggie's on the Portal wiki, and I'm really super excited about that. So we've created something in the Portal lore now. So
Yeah, off of that, like, it was a question if they would let us create a new personality core. Because, Wheatley was an amazing character, but he had a complete story. It didn't make sense for Wheatley to exist in the context of a remote testing unit as we were presenting it. So the concept that the team came up with was that this personality core is unique to this experience, and he's there to assist you as the player. And the pitch was that he's the team building core, and he's real psyched about corporate synergy and all of these like business speak things, but in such an upbeat, positive way that he is the cheerleader for you as the player. And they were like, yeah, great, go with it.
Yeah, they said that he fits right in with the Portal sensibilities and the Portal sense of humor. It's hard at shows because it's really hard to hear anything at shows. But I really do think people are going to fall in love with Reggie when they just this little. We've got the personality core in the machine with the eye that's searching around. It emotes to you. It's going to say all this stuff. And Mark Silk, I got to work with him on doing it. There are a ton of callouts that we've got in here in the game, and there's going to be more coming when we finish out the rest of it. And this little personality core has so much personality, and he's brings so much to the table. And Mark is just excellent, and we love the character that and everything that he brought to the character. And so I think when people get to spend some time with him, they're just gonna really love that interaction. And like to your question earlier about GLaDOS and her callouts, we knew that we had so much to work with GLaDOS, and GLaDOS can't be the person who's cheering you on, that can't be the person who's telling you what to do and helping you through that. She's your antagonist throughout these things. And we wanted to keep that in the game and keep that personality, the stuff that we love about GLaDOS, but we needed somebody to be that core for you, and that was Reggie. So that was one of the things that they were kind of excited about, and they signed off on it, and I liked it.
Let's go back first. He was waiting on the last one, yeah. What were the technical challenges of doing the secondary playfield? Should I talk about that, or do you want to?
You can talk about it.
There weren't any. Easy. So long time people have asked us to put physical mechs lower on the playfield because the last few games, all of the games we've developed have been upper playfield modules. We've leveraged the LCD, we have floating side targets, and if you look at all of the games, usually they have, even if they have things closer to the flippers, they're on the sides. Because if you put something dead smack in the center, it blocks all of your shot angles to everything. So if there are things closer on the playfield on any game, they're probably scoops or targets on the sides, maybe a short ramp or something. We put stuff right in the middle of this playfield, and figuring out geometries that work together, figuring out where we could put targets that are fun to shoot while also being dangerous, while also surviving the impact of the ball. You'll notice on the extended version, this is a stand-up target. These two things are stand-up targets. There's a stand-up target here. There were no targets that hung upside down from anything in a pinball game before. So we had to work with a switch manufacturer to create new versions of switches that didn't bolt to the bottom of a playfield, but instead were able to be mounted upside down with the right amount of cushioning and target face structure to allow these hard close shots to work. It's one small piece of it. We have a lifting ramp, we have a kickback mech, we have coils and motors mounted above the LCD that you don't see. Decorating that was fun. You want to talk about that? The process of creating this immersive environment, including the extended?
Yeah. Boy. So as an illustrator, I'd say my core discipline, right, is drawing and working on a flat surface, whether that's a sheet of paper or working in software on a tablet, flat piece of art. In my personal work, I do a lot to play with that and bring extra depth to it. I do things with 3D glasses, I do things with layered wood. Bringing that point of view into the pinball machine is similarly finding ways of taking flat artwork and arranging it in a way that gives an immersive experience to the viewer. The P3 and what they do at Multimorphic is rather incredible in the sense that the ongoing challenge for the team is, hey, let's cover all the exposed surfaces. And I don't think people realize quite how intense that is. Like, it's amazing how many surfaces are inside of a pinball machine. You look at any manufacturer's games and you've got, raw chrome, ramps and things, and you generally don't think anything of it. And it's great. But in
Usually
this
a
case,
top-down view, right? Usually you have
Yeah.
the playfield decoration, which is artwork on the playfield surface, and you have plastics that sit horizontally.
Yeah,
So
flat
you're
surfaces,
creating a top-down view of a cool environment, but
Yeah.
doing all of the vertical surfaces is a whole nother thing.
Right. So if you look inside any of these modules, and you've got all of these like angular plates covering the mechanisms and things, I'll cut to the chase. There were 95 individual art files for the module. That's also wrapping around surfaces, right? So that's well over 150 individual surfaces that are covered inside of this thing. There is nothing that is exposed. That is a complete world under glass that I don't think you've ever seen anywhere else before. I don't think we've seen it before. And the way that I tried to approach that was by working in the flat software, but also working in 3D modeling software to visualize the module itself and get a sense of what we're working with, planning ahead for when it all would become one screwed together assembly of shapes. So if you get up on the module and you're you're looking around, you're trying to look behind things.
There's an undecorated surface somewhere. There
somewhere-
must be.
somewhere.
There is.
Obviously, underneath the faith plate, right? That's got to be bare, right? There's nothing there
No,
underneath the
no,
faith
there's
plate.
there's stuff under there.
Oh, okay. So if we open it up and you're gonna shoot underneath the faith plate, we got artwork under there. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. The side panel on the upper left, like mid module that pops out for a tenth of a second. The inside of that flap is decorated. The inside of the bottom's decorated.
yeah.
It's just extra detail to discover that subconsciously you're absorbing it while you're playing the game, and you're just being pulled into that world. And it's like a dollhouse.
I think everyone should go look at the pit. Look at the, so we have the grating at the back, which is held up by 3 arm, or like pistons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, oh yeah, we actually have a photo of this. And look at the reflections and shadows that Brad put in here. Like, this looks 3D. These are separate decals.
Yeah.
I'm
and
moving the
it's-
mouse where the vertical, no, it's down here.
Yeah.
This is the transition between a horizontal surface and a vertical surface, and the reflection of these pistons come down into the bottom.
Yeah, you guys know those crazy sidewalk chalk drawings where you have to stand in the right position? Pinball is kind of ideal because you're always standing in a certain view. So aligning those surfaces and getting the flow of a reflection, off of one surface onto another, you can kind of anticipate what that angle of view is going to be. It might look a little weird if you're looking at it from the side at a pinball show and you're watching somebody else play, but when you get up to it and you're the player, it's going to look right for you, and you're going to have this interesting forced perspective that is just a really fascinating process.
Have I said how awesome Brad Albright is?
Yeah.
I think we probably asked him to do more for this game than anyone's ever asked a pinball artist to do.
Well, and I
ever.
took a lot of that on myself just by choice because I was excited. Like, I've made no secret of the fact that it was my dream to do this, right? Do art for a production game, but I feel extremely fortunate that it wasn't just any game, which would technically have satisfied that dream. I got to work on Portal with these guys to make that thing, and every step of the way was fun. I was able to learn, I was able to have a good time, and I think we've made something that is unlike anything you've ever played before, and really no amount of description or photos or video are gonna convey that until you walk up and play the thing.
For 100
It's-
times to
for-
see everything.
It's packed. It's
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw this pit, I saw those pistons. I was like, Jerry, when did we build in physical pistons? Like, where these things? I thought they were real in the artwork, and,
Yeah.
and I was like, had to take a double take, and I was like, oh man, all that shadow, all that everything is built into.
Yeah,
the
there's a crazy
art.
shadow that you can't see from that, but it crosses over like 3 different shapes, and it's
Yeah.
so excessive. Like, no one would notice that stuff, but it was kind of just fun to play with and
Notice
see if
that.
it would work.
We're gonna take a question.
Yep. So chat has a question. Pinball Mickey asks how much more code is coming, and also, so the extended version has no extra game features, modes, or sound effects.
We're wrapping up on time, so Ian, if you want to take this.
Yeah, so
quick-
from how much more is coming, we think we're presenting a high-quality, good game right now. There is certainly a lot of work even to do on the chambers we're presenting. We have to dial in the polish. As you can see on the playfield, when you go up to it, there are 3 chambers that are marked off as under construction. 2 of those are traditional test chambers like the ones we're presenting now. We've implemented them. The graphics are not at a quality level where we want to show it yet. But those modes are fully functional and play tested, and we've been playing them for a long time. We just weren't comfortable showing them at the show. So those 2 modes are coming. And then the final chamber is a long storytelling wizard mode in a multimorphic style, which will be coming at a later point in time.
Do we have time for one more question? Are we good? Russell, where was Russell? You had a question.
Have you been able to set what you believe the production schedule?
Production schedule. Brad, you want to answer that? Production, so generally we launch right around this time with the hope that we're going to get enough feedback to understand what build queue size we need to order parts for. So we don't usually launch our game and ship right away. We take 4 to 5 months to get the parts ordered and in-house. We're looking at late summer to start production. It's going to take a few months to get through the already large build queue of orders that have come in. Well, thank you all for your support and interest in the game. We think we're going to make something for you that you absolutely love. We absolutely love it. We loved working on it. We love working with each other. These guys are all super talented folks. I call it a dream team because we enjoy coming into work and talking through these things. Brad was in every single design meeting with the engineers and the developers, and because he was interested in the process, and that helped him understand how to decorate the game. But these things don't just come together quickly. It's months and months and months of daily long meetings, talking through ideas, figuring out how to create the game, and it's hopefully it shows, because we're all super proud of it. We hope you're all enjoying it. We're going to get this machine back over there. There's a lineup of 3 of these, and we'll look forward to seeing you over there. If you have more questions, come up and talk to us in the game room. Thank you.